Wild.
It's pretty wild. 9 episodes. I am honored to be here. A little countdown. It's like we're on iCarly or something.
Did you watch iCarly?
I watched a little bit of iCarly. When iCarly was a thing, like when it was a big thing on TV, I was in New Zealand, so I missed a lot of the hype, and I didn't see a lot of the episodes when they came out new. But when I came back to the States, like we watched a lot of reruns in my grandma's house, and I've seen basically the whole show, and I love the show. It's great.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to watch it, or I guess I wasn't allowed to watch it. Nobody else was watching it in our family. But it was like a good guilty pleasure show. Like I always thought it was funny because it was just really random and stuff. But did I tell you that the amusement park I work at, the guy that plays Gibby is there like pretty often.
Wait, you didn't tell me you work at an amusement park.
You didn't know that? I told Megan. I kind of assumed that everything I tell Megan goes to Becca and then consequently goes to you, but I guess not. But yeah, I work at Knott's Berry Farm. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh no, I never heard of it.
No, it's next to Disneyland, so it's always like in its shadow. Yeah. And I guess if you're from California, you'll know, but it's basically 4 different theme parks in one. It's very small, but there's like a whole western bit where I work at, and like everything's cowboy and all that. And then there's like a 50s area where it's all like milkshakes and roller coasters, and then there's a really cultural appropriating like Mexico village. And then there's Camp Snoopy, which is like Peanuts gang and all that.
Oh shoot.
No, yeah, it's pretty cool. If you're ever in California, I'll give you free tickets. But yeah. But yeah, so cool stuff like that. And then in the western area where I work, there's like a photo gallery where you take pictures as like cowboys and anything in like that caliber. So you could be like saloon people or like, that's probably about it. But you could ride a horse too. And so in all that, the guy that plays Gibby and his family comes by like at least twice a year to take a picture.
Really?
So yeah, it's like a huge thing for everybody when he shows up. He's not as adorable anymore, and that's kind of weird.
I would imagine. Isn't he like in his 30s now?
He has to be. I haven't seen him yet. I just keep hearing about like this fabled coming of Gibby, but I don't know.
So when you're working at this Western world, do you wear like cowboy attire and everything?
I look like a bank teller, or I think episode 7. I'm wearing my outfit that's like, it's just like a flannel and jeans, which is like,
okay.
It's like I mean, it's kind of westerny. It looks like I could like ride a horse in this outfit, but I don't know. I'm not a cowboy. I want to be. There's a specific job where you're just an actor and you walk around just acting like a cowboy, and like people will ask you questions and you have to answer like a cowboy would, and it's really cool. There's also like bandits that like, there's a train ride. It's just like a train that's 1920 style, and it goes around the park, and bandits will like rob it every time you're on it, and that's super cool. That's what I wanted to do. One of the original names for this podcast was like, get David to be a bandit or something, and I would just like, we would just be looking into cowboy facts with every guest and stuff, and like talking about how it could get there easier, but yeah, it's not an easy job.
El DeVito Bandito.
El DeVito Bandito. Let's start asking questions.
Okay.
I was thinking about this theme park earlier, and I was like, what if I had my own theme park? Cause like, think of Disneyland. He has his own name and land behind it, and then it's like a mouse kind of theme, right? It's got the whole Mickey theme, but like, if I had my own, what would my theme be? And then the same question, what would Levi Land be like? What do you think?
Oh goodness, Levi Land would be, I think it'd be very similar to like, I don't know if I could say this on the podcast, it'd be very similar to like Acid Trip. Just like, I mean, you walk in and immediately you have no idea what's going on. Everything, the lights are flashing in your eyes, things are changing colors. Well, there wouldn't be colors because I'm colorblind, but like, you just walk in.
Is it just a strobe light that like somebody's holding, or like, is it?
No, there's like strobe lights everywhere. Quality,
okay.
This should be like in the future, obviously, where there's like holograms, and so we have like monsters and whatever. I don't know. It'd be weird. You wouldn't know what's happening, and then you'd leave, and you'd still not know what's happening. It's like a Tarantino movie. You have no idea.
Would you know that you left, or would it just be like a part of you for the next day, no matter where you are?
I think it'd be really cool if you didn't know when you left, but I think the only way to do that is if we like drugged all the guests, and I don't think we could get away with that.
No, I think holograms could do the job. Like, if you just, like, in the parking lot, you have, like, Levi holograms walking around, and there's just way too many of them. Like, you don't even understand which one's the real one.
Yeah.
And maybe one of them steals your keys, and so you have to, like, find out which one before you can drive away. Yeah. And it's, like, a whole experience.
And you get in the car, and you think you're safe to go home, and 4 more Levi's get in the car. You're like, what?
Yeah. They're all telling you riddles and whatnot.
Exactly.
And, do you think there'd be rides here, or is that, like, the ride enough? Like, what if you just walk into, like, a waiting area, and then all these Levi's start to, like, you know, get in your space and whatnot, so you try to leave, and then, like, you're in the park now. And that's just, like, you could be at home, but you're still in the park for the next 24 hours.
So it's like, you walk into the waiting room, and then it's like a Levi-themed escape room. And then once you escape the room, then you're in the park.
Well, when you say Levi things, do you say things that pertain to you, or things that are just, like, your face?
I think my face is better. I wasn't meaning that at first, but that sounds like a better idea.
Like, there's, like, a table in the shape of your face, and, like, in one of these drawers is, like, a mini Levi that unlocks a Levi-shaped door.
Yeah,
that will get you out, yeah. I think that's awful, but I'm really into it. Would there be food here? Like cheesecake, but it's also your face?
Yeah, it's gotta be like, no, you gotta have the Levi staples. So there'd be Dr. Pepper, obviously. A little bit of apple juice. Gotta throw some like,
just those two things.
Yeah.
There's no water in this park.
No, the water, you don't need water.
Yeah, getting dehydrated, go to the apple juice fountain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can get hydrated on apple juice, I think.
I mean, one way to find out. I wish I could just cut off water and be like, I'm only going to drink apple juice and be okay.
Yeah.
Like, my skin is just perfectly flourishing because I'm drinking apples every day.
You know that drinking a lot of apple juice makes you have really, really vivid dreams.
Is that true?
I think that would be, yeah. Well, I mean, probably. It's what I read. It's what I've experienced. So at this theme park, you drink a bunch of apple juice, and then you wouldn't know if you're dreaming.
Whoa, that sounds awful. That sounds like a lawsuit. It's like, I don't know. I was so dehydrated, and I was dreaming really well, and his face was on everything.
It's like everybody's worst sick day.
I think, honestly, it could just be like one empty stadium, and just let them walk around, dehydrated, and just seeing your face, and they will make up their own experiences.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even need roller coasters, but they will fully believe, just like a group hysteria thing, that they all went on the same roller coaster.
We'll call it the Levi Marble Insane Asylum.
It's just an asylum. Honestly, that's a good way to get some rep.
Exactly.
Be like, hey, buy out a institution, just have all the guests go there. They'll never know the difference. Everybody's high on Levi.
That's like something that they say in business, is there's no such thing as bad publicity. So, like, you know, it gets out in the news, that's getting out in the news. You know?
In a way, you're helping a lot of people.
Exactly.
You're giving them something to believe in.
Exactly.
And then you could have all these, like, attractions and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you could just have, like, a little panel where you answer everybody's questions for them, like, very deep questions and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Just be like, let me think about it, and then you just, boom. You don't even answer the question, but they're so, like, high on Levi, which is, that's going to be the tagline, just high on Levi.
High on
Levi. And then they just believe that you answered it. I think that's a pretty good idea. I don't know. That's just me. I would never want to go there.
Yeah, it's either I'd do that, or I would do, so they show up to the amusement park, they buy the ticket, and it'd be like, you know, $400 a ticket, because I'm a businessman. $400 a ticket. They'd come into this waiting room.
It's a lot cheaper than Disney.
Yeah. So they'd get into this waiting room to wait to get into the amusement park, and it's just a waiting room. They're there for like 4 hours, like, screw this, I'm going home. And they leave, and they walk outside, and they see that there was no amusement park, it was just a waiting room.
It's just like, are you going to have like a kind of set up so it looks like there's an amusement park, and then like you take it down every night so that they can't even like trace it back to you?
Yeah, basically. I think that's a good idea.
I love it, yeah. It's just kind of haunting them. And then maybe they're like scared of Levi Land. Like it's always in the back of their mind, but you don't talk about it when you leave. And it's like, it's an experience you have, and you will have your life changed, but you can't talk about it.
Yeah.
That's like on the exit of the door. Just don't talk about Levi Land.
Exactly. We don't
Please.
talk about Levi.
We don't talk about Levi Land. But yeah, we want to get into this episode. We can start the episode now.
Let's start the episode.
Welcome to the Many Friends of David S. Episode 7. With Levi Marble. Yeah. I need to work on some kind of like audio sound effects so we can just like dun 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 dun.
That's
And
not a
then
bad idea.
Yeah, and then I like superimpose both our faces to like be dancing, you know, and then this little guy in there. But yeah, this is the show that always has a different tagline because I can't decide on one. Today I'm Today I met with Levi Marble. Levi, why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
My name is Levi. Starts with an L, ends with an Evi. I'm from Arizona. I met David at a Bible study, which I'm sure we will get into later.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's get into it then. How did we meet? Do you remember our first time, or our little meet cute and whatnot?
I don't remember the very. Do you remember the very first? Because I don't remember the very first.
I wrote it down and I just put, I don't know, ask Levi. But, because it was like before you would announce people's names. You would, like, it's a big thing for you to just go, like, I don't know, like, this is Josh, everybody, and yeah, and everybody would know Josh, but it was before you did that.
It was before I did that.
I don't even know if I met you my first night, because my first night was, like, Halloween or something, maybe the day before Halloween, you know? But,
Wow.
I think I met Dawson, your brother, but I don't think, like, you were even there, question mark?
I might not have been, actually.
I don't know where you were. No, you were there, because you were a serial killer, remember? And it was just a box of cereal with a knife in it?
Yeah, with a knife in it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we met them, but I never would have thought, like, I'd talk to you again after that. You could have been anybody. And I wonder if I met Becca that same night. Was she also a serial killer?
She wasn't a serial killer. Oh, her and Megan dressed up as each other.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think they wear, like, significant clothing, unless Becca dressed up like a nurse, which I don't think she did.
They wore the same t-shirt and jeans, and that was it.
I don't think that... Does that count?
No, not at all.
I feel like I could have dressed up as anything and been like, oh, I'm Levi today. I guess I just needed a hat. Then I would have just, boom. Did we ever get Raimondo's hats?
I've actually been working on that with a friend of ours who started a line of clothing recently, and so he's going to help make a hat. Yeah. Is
it Noah? Is it Inferno Wear?
Yeah.
Is it actually?
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, we talked about that the last episode, so it's okay, we can drop it.
Okay.
But, I guess if we can't remember meeting each other, do you remember becoming friends?
I do.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that we just kind of became friends and then slowly became better friends. I remember. I started meeting you, because you were friends with Becca. You and Becca would you guys would
That doesn't sound true. Becca wouldn't agree with that.
I don't know if you call it friends, but I met you after you and Becca were friends. But I had listened because I would float around Bible study and I'd listen to you talking to people, and you tell different people different things about yourself all the time. Like, whoa, this kid gets it.
Like serious things, or like was I messing with them? Because I do tend to do that.
Messing with them.
Okay, yeah.
Messing with everybody. People you met, people you hadn't met, just all the time.
Okay, that sounds like me. Yeah. Do you remember any things I said? Because I genuinely don't know what I would have said.
I don't remember any specifics. I vividly remember the night that you sat on the center console of my car. Julia talked about this in the first episode.
Episode 1.
Episode 1. You sat in the center console of my car while Becca, which is my fiancée, Julia, which is her cousin, sat in the passenger seat. And I heard you fighting them, and I was fighting them with you. I was like, no, let him be. David should stay.
Yeah, I want something like that. I do remember, I think that might have been, like, the first, like, stepping stone to, like, our better friendship. Or maybe just, the first time I considered you a friend. Because I don't really remember when that was. But I remember that. I was like, can I sit on your center console? And you're like, yeah. And then Becca was like, he's not going to do it. And as she said that, I climbed into that
Exactly.
console. And we were like going like 45 on the street. And yeah, that's when that whole argument was going. And you were defending me. And that was the only reason that went so far.
Yeah.
And
it's the third front seat.
yeah. And I think I was like removed on the way back. But it was still the memory that latches on to all of us. I'm sure if I ever have Becca on here, which I've name dropped her like 20 times, so I'm gonna have to ask her anyways. But if I ever have her on here, I think I'm gonna. Oh, I'll have to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So after that, I say we just keep like building like how we got better friends. But do you know like the next significant memory we have?
I don't know. I don't remember the order, but I've got a lot of memories. The next biggest one I can think of.
Just remember, you have to have a really good one for the end. That's the only thing.
Oh, I've got the best one for the end.
Okay, good. I do too. But yeah, what other memories you got? We don't have to be in order.
You went with us when we went mattress surfing, right?
That's right. I forgot about that. That was pretty cool. I don't even know how that happened. I don't even know whose mattress it was.
It was. We moved my grandma out of her house, and my older brother took the mattresses, like all 3 mattresses. And
interesting.
We went out to the desert at my aunt's house, because she just lives out in the middle of the desert. We got a big rope and tied the mattress to the back of the truck. And then we just drove around the desert and put a bunch of guys on the mattress. That
was really gross. That's one of the biggest things I remember. We were covered in, like, anything the desert had to offer us.
Well, because the videos that Dawson had found of it were people doing it, like, after it had rained in the mud. And we were like, this is Arizona. It doesn't rain. So we went and did it out in the desert. We just got dusted hard.
It was so gross. It was, like, all in our mouth and all that.
Oh, yeah. Our teeth were just caked with dirt.
We went to Whataburger after that, like, oh, can we use your bathroom? And we're, like, taking showers in the sink, basically. And they got very upset about that.
Oh, yeah, they did.
So gross. I didn't get any of that off of me for, like, days.
Oh, bro. When we were out there, because after the mattress got torn up and shredded, we used a sheet of plywood. And I got thrown off the plywood into a bush.
Oh.
Yeah. I still have a scar on my back from it.
I remember there was a point where there was like 5 of us on the mattress, but it was already like given out because we'd done it so many times. Mm-hmm. And then it just ripped open. Yep. And it was like me and maybe Luke or one other person that just fell to the bottom, getting our butt scraped by like everything underneath. That was the most painful experience. You know, we were like trying to get Dawson to stop the truck, but he couldn't see us, and that was fun.
I remember that.
I don't know where we were at all. But, we're talking about Raimondo's. So, what is your, like, updated goal on doing this whole Raimondo's biz?
So, updated goal with Raimondo's is my plan. This is my goal. It's not realistic, but it's my goal. I want to take over the Italian food, not the world, the Italian food world in Arizona. That's the goal. Start with Arizona and then make my way out, you know? I already kind of dominate the Italian food in the farmers markets a little bit, getting there. I'm almost there. Mostly because all my food is gluten-free and nobody really does that, so it makes me special.
Yeah, it's very farmers market.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not very Italian, but who's to say?
What do you mean? I'm Italian.
Are you? At all?
No, I don't think so at all.
Do you think you'll ever change the name of Raimondo's to make it more marketable?
I don't think so.
No?
I think it's alright where it's at. I don't know anything about marketing, but I think it's okay.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later. Yeah, but I don't know, because you can't copyright it, right? It's a name.
Correct.
Yeah. I guess. But there's so many people that are like familiar with Raimondo himself that it's almost disrespectful to them, I guess, if you were to change it. But
basically, I'd lose a lot of my customer base. Biggest thing, I could copyright it, but I couldn't stop anybody with that name from using that name. So if your name is Raimondo, I can't sue you.
Then.
Yeah.
Do you think Would you ever like implement new foods, or is it just what it's gonna be like now?
I actually already have implemented a new food.
Really?
Yeah, we started doing Alfredo meatballs.
This is so good. I remember those.
Yeah.
They're not as good as the red sauce, but like for Alfredo meatballs, it's pretty hard. They go pretty hard, dude.
Oh yeah. Yes, they do. Pretty
But yeah, and it's good because a lot of people can't have the red sauce, so it works out.
good. Yeah.
It's still helping out people. I don't know. But yeah, what is your? So you're just gonna take over the markets, or are you going restaurants still? Is that still a dream?
I'm thinking about restaurants. I actually had an idea recently, around the time of Passover, because we did another Christian Passover this year.
Oh yeah.
I had an idea, and it's gonna be called the Passover Experience. Okay. Nothing
Okay.
says American Christianity more than monetizing a Christian tradition, right? So, it's gonna be, we're gonna go to different churches into the parking lots. We're gonna set up a big like circus tent,
Okay.
and then have like nice, not like some crappy little side of the road food vendor. It's gonna be like nice, like come in, sit down, restaurant style, just
Ooh.
outside.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. And so we'll have people come in, and we'll have the tables set up in the U shape, like the tables that they would have used at the Passover, you know?
Mhm.
And so we'll have it set up like normal, and we'll have like 5 or 6 tables. We'll have kitchen staff cooking the lamb and all the other things, the wait staff bringing it out. And then I'm going to stand in the front, and I'm going to do a guided tour through the Passover, and like through all the different traditions and what they mean, and like
Ooh, I
what
like that.
Jesus' role was. Yeah. So
Is that going to be like with meatballs at all, or is that not part of it?
Probably not with meatballs, but I did think about doing like chicken nuggets for a kid's meal. Because, like an adult, if they don't like lamb, they can just eat the lamb and deal with it. But if a kid doesn't like lamb, they're just going to make a problem. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can do dinosaur chicken nuggets, or is that somehow
Oh,
sacrilegious?
obviously.
Okay.
There's no other kind of chicken nugget. They just don't exist.
Yeah. Everybody knows it comes from dinosaurs, and it returns to dinosaurs. In shape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
From dust to dust, from dino to dino.
Dino to dino. I wish I could just name this episode that. Just from dino to dino. You want to get into like deep questions?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, they can not be, but it's up to you. However you want to talk about them. Actually, before that, let me just ask you, what's your most memorable first impression? Because we didn't even have one. So like, you must have a really memorable first impression.
Of you?
No, not of me, just anybody. Like the first time you met them, you're like, oh, this is the coolest way I've ever met someone in my life.
Bro, I'd actually have to say yours is up there. It's
Mine?
like I said, yeah, bro. Because I didn't like meet you, but I was around you quite a lot before you and I were like friends, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. I don't even know who mine is. Maybe like. Well, I feel like I have to say you now.
Nah, you don't have to say me.
Well, I don't know, because even if I think about it, it would kind of be like, because I didn't like meet you, but people kind of talk you up. Like you ever seen The Great Gatsby when they're looking for Gatsby and they're like, oh, I heard he like fought in the war and all that, and they're like everybody talks about it, and then you run into Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's kind of like that, where like I never really saw you. I was just like, oh, is he the guy with the cereal box on him? And they're like, yeah, that guy. Like he's the son of the pastor and all that, and then it was like, I basically met everybody else before you, but I like had known you when I met you, which is probably why I don't even remember meeting you, because it's just like, oh, when did it really happen?
Yeah, honestly.
But yeah, it was this whole thing. Look at that. But yeah, how do you think you just make friends like normally?
How do
What's
I
your way
make
of doing
friends?
it? Yeah, how do you think so? Like specifically you.
Well, I guess I'm pretty unique, not to pat myself on the back or anything, but in the sense of like when I walk up to somebody, I just kind of assume we are already friends.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you always been that way?
No, I actually used to hate people, like genuinely.
Huh.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was, let's see here. That's like 2 or 3 years ago. Everything up until then, I just hated people. I didn't want anything to do with anybody. And then one day it was just like, boom, social butterfly. And
Do you think you realized that, like, that day that you, like, just made a friend, you're like, wow, this is not what I would do?
Yeah, it was a little bit. There's a lot of things that happened, but it's like, I just decided, I was like, this is dumb. People are cool. And so I just started making
People
friends.
are cool. Yeah, that's, like, my favorite way to look at people. Like, people suck, but people are pretty cool also. Like,
Exactly.
that's why I wanted this podcast, because, like, all of you suck, but I love all of you. That's
Thanks,
not
dude.
true. Everybody who's been on here, I don't hate any of you, except for all of you. But no, it's just, like, it's cool that, like, people are very unique that way, and, like, you find out something new. You find out, like, different ways to meet people and all that, and there's always a different story, and it's cool that you can ask people that, and it's really changed. It influences your life in a way, I think.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I really like, yeah. Well, let me ask you, what's your favorite thing about people, just in general?
My favorite thing about people, I really like. So, this is actually pretty deep. I had this moment of realization when I was. This is gonna sound like a monk, but I was on the top of a mountain in a lightning storm praying to God. So,
Wow, how did that happen? Where were you in a mountain in Arizona?
well, I guess you'd probably call it a hill, but for us it's a mountain.
Okay. But it was raining? You went to during a lightning storm, you're on a mountain. Sorry, this isn't the point. You can keep talking.
Yeah, we went. It's at the Prayer Pavilion. I don't know if did you ever go to the Prayer Pavilion?
I never went, no.
Well, at the Prayer Pavilion, literally like right outside the back door, there's a hill, and you can climb up the hill. It's a pretty big hill. I call it a mountain,
Okay.
but
Alright,
you know.
I'll give it to you.
So, climbing up this mountain, and it's like cloudy and it's windy, and you can hear thunder and you can see lightning way off, and it's like, yeah, let's climb this mountain.
Yeah,
And so,
as you should.
yeah, it was me and one other person, and we get like halfway up and it starts raining, and they're like, I'm actually gonna go back. This is kind of dangerous. I was like, that's cool. I'm gonna go to the top. And so I go up, and it's like raining pretty hard, and I'm just t-shirt and jeans, and that was it. And I'm at the top, and it's raining, and there's lightning, and the lightning is now like all around me. And I'm just like, this is really cool. Like, I wish I would have taken a picture of it, but like, I notoriously always have broken cameras on my phone. It was really cool. And I was up there and I was just praying. I was talking to God, and God was like, "Hey Levi, listen to this, you big dummy." And I was like, "Okay, what?" And he says, "Each person that you come in contact with has their own story and their own past that is just as complicated as yours." I was like, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah. My story is pretty complicated. There's a lot of parts to it." And he's to think that like every single person has felt just as much emotion, just as much everything, and seen just as much as I have is weird. And it's like every single person, not just the people I know. Like, I could walk by a stranger on the street and they could be going through a midlife crisis to the extent that I've never experienced. And I'd have no idea if I didn't talk to them. So after that, it's like, okay, you meet a new person, and then you gotta like unturn every rock and look in every corner. It's like, who are you? Like, what is your story? And it's just neat, meeting new people and finding out new things about different people.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite thing, which I'm wondering how special that is an answer, but no, I see that you understand it, and it's almost like humbling to know that, like, oh, I guess I'm not that important. And like,
Yeah.
but also in the same manner, like, people are pretty important.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
like, I do a lot of things in my life, just daily, where I'm like, oh, that was pretty cool. And, like, people have those experiences every day. And, like, everybody's, like, working on themselves and whatnot. And they have all these thoughts, even if they're, like, awful thoughts. They're just like, oh, that person's still, like, there's so much going on in their heads right now, as I'm, like, kind of thinking that they're just, like, a side character. Which is, like, a weird thing that video games have ruined for me. Because I always just want to be like, oh, you're going to give me a little quest, and then I'm done with this person I'll never talk to again.
Yeah.
Which is why I like to, like, always make up things about my life that are super fake when I meet a stranger, where I'm just like, oh, I'm from Minnesota. But, like, no, it's like, it kind of ruins it, but also it's like, if I give them the honest me, then they can go about saying that, like, oh, I've met someone who's very genuine about who they are, and, like, I can say the same thing, and I think it really, like, when you're genuine about who you are, you can, like, you seek the best intentions for everyone, I guess. Because, like, I don't know, I think one of, like, the worst things you can do is act like someone isn't important. Because, I mean, you belittle someone enough, they're going to believe it. And I don't know. People think a lot, so it would mess off a lot of things. I don't know. I lost my train of thought, but no, I totally agree with you that like you gotta look at all these stones that are like uncovered and all that, and just see I don't know, how you can help someone even.
Yeah.
Because it is our obligation, I think, as Christians and as like created by God. It's like He wouldn't have made so many people if not enough of them mattered. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I really like your thought process on that. But I guess with the same thought process, how would you like want to be remembered by people? Either people that like strangers you've met, or like when you die, the friends and family you have. What would you want them to say?
Um, I would want them to be honest about who I was overall. Like if I'm dead, because like I'm a human. I suck sometimes, you know. Like I hurt people's feelings. Typically, I'm a pretty blunt person in the things that I say. So like I know I hurt people's feelings, and if I'm dead and people are looking back at me, I want them to think like, yeah, this was a real guy, like that did real things. Like he wasn't perfect. Like he might have been funny. He might have been very handsome, but like he wasn't perfect, you know. And then
No,
yeah.
yeah, it's just, and that's a good thing. Like to know that like at the end of it, everybody kind of messed up, but there is like something good about everyone inherently at the end of it. Yeah, and I don't know. I think that's like maybe the most noble thing of all, just to say that you were who you were, and you at least tried to be. At least you weren't hiding it from anyone.
Yeah.
When I die, I would want like people to say that like I was very genuine with them, or at least like that I cared. Because I also have a habit of making fun of people, and sometimes it doesn't go over well. And some people don't have the same sense of humor, so it's kind of like, shoot, I really messed that one up. But like,
Yep.
I don't know, and I'm working on it more and more. But I want people to know that they're cared about by someone that like, even if it's not very significant, because I don't very well know them. It's just like, yeah, you mattered to someone today. The thing that you did was important, even if it was very small. If I sneezed and you said bless you and I didn't know you, like I do want to say like thank you. Like it was that was manners, and when manners don't really matter anymore. So
Honestly,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's a life mission to kind of work on, which I'm not there yet, but I do want to like find a way to just kind of care about people, even if I hate them. And yeah,
Yeah. It's like
man,
for me, like I try to do that. Like I guess another thing I'd want to be remembered for is my faith in God.
Mhm.
Which for all the viewers out there, I am a Christian, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So,
do
what's
it.
up?
Yeah.
Like, I would want to be remembered for, like, in my life. I wouldn't want to be remembered at all. Like, if I'm remembered, I'd want it to be that I was faithful to the Lord, and not trying to do something that people thought was good. Just trying to do what God wants me to do.
Yeah,
Cause,
I like that.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, I guess you see the importance in like, in showing your faith to others, and that's really cool because not a lot of people. I feel I find it harder, maybe even I find it harder in California too, to like talk about God when there's not a lot of people that do, and like especially a lot of Californian Christians have like leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, and so it's kind of like it's this it's a mission to show them like I'm a Christian without being like a Karen,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's what those two things are just synonymous if you see them in the media or anything. And it's like it's rough, but it's I want to show that like it's really just about me loving you because somebody loved me, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's rough.
'Cause,
I don't know. Do you find it difficult yourself, like where you are?
um, sometimes I'm in a tricky because I am a business owner, so like I have to maintain a certain appearance for my customer base.
Mm-hmm.
But like it helps since I do all of the interacting myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because like as a Christian, we know our job isn't to judge people. Like our job isn't to go out to people like and say, "Hey, what you're doing is wrong. You're gonna go to hell." Our job is to say, like, "This is Jesus, and Jesus
Mm-hmm.
is the best, and Jesus is God, and I want to follow Jesus, and I want you to know Jesus because Jesus is awesome." Like my job is not to judge you. My job is to tell you that Jesus is King. And then when you meet Jesus, Jesus can tell you what Jesus wants to tell you. My job is just to make sure that you meet Jesus, you know?
Yeah.
And so with that mentality, it makes it easier. But also, like, as a business owner, I have to be careful what I say because there's a pretty negative image of Christians in the public. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I fully agree. There was an article a while back which was like, it was extremely controversial because it said it's harder to be a Christian today than it is to be Muslim, because a lot of people are trying to be like, oh well, like, there was a lot of hatred towards them for a good while, and like, yeah, it was pretty awful, but like, and now it's like if you're Muslim, it's like, okay, we'll give you your space, you can do what you want. But all this media with like, and I've said Karens, where it's like, yeah, they're Christian, or self-proclaimed at least, but they go about the wrong part. They go on this whole judgmental like rampage.
Love keeps no record of wrongs. That's what the Bible says.
I like that. It's a good one.
So, yeah, it's 1 Corinthians 13.
Let's make things lighter again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you had like a Batman utility belt, just in your everyday life, what would you throw in it? Everyday life. You don't have to be crime fighting, but if you want to have some crime fighting stuff.
Oh, I'd absolutely be crime fighting. I used to dream about being Batman.
Really?
Oh yeah, I had like Batman blankets and everything. Batman's my favorite. Have you seen the new I know you've seen the new Batman movie. You talked to Lucas about it. Yeah, I did. It's awesome. Best Batman movie ever made, in my opinion.
Really? I still take the Dark Knight over anything. I love that movie.
Dark Knight was good, but
it's not as comic booky. It's not as superhero-y. But it's like, I think it's like, because of that, I can watch it any day now. Where it's just like, yeah, there's a lot going on. It just feels like something's always happening, and I don't know. Like, the Joker's great, and yeah. It still impresses me every single time. So, I'll take it over.
Yeah. Because like the Joker really makes the movies. This isn't the question, but I'll answer your question still.
We'll get to that, yeah. But no, he does make the movie, and it feels very, like, well acted. Like, even if you knew nothing about acting, you could be like, that guy is doing something good.
Yeah, Heath Ledger got it. It was like one of his last performances, but he got it down. In preparation for that role, he locked himself in a hotel room for like a month or two.
That's right, with his like little journal something, and like, it's crazy. I don't know. It's like, it sounds like a little too much, but I mean, you saw what it paid off with, and I don't know. It's not even easily replicated. Like, Jared Leto tried that out, and we hate him.
Jared Leto did awful. I don't like that Joker. That Joker's bad.
I don't think there's a single thing about that Joker that's like, yeah, it's just...
Exactly. But I really like Joaquin Phoenix Joker. That was freaking good.
He didn't feel as Joker-y to me. I'll say that.
It wasn't...
But, like, it's still such an entertaining movie every time.
Oh, yeah. It was a great... Like, if it was its own movie, it's a great movie. Because that's one of the beautiful things about the Joker is that nobody knows his backstory because he tells a different one every time.
Yeah. And, like, it's not even, like, a story that can cross over with Batman, I think. Because, like, well, for one, that was, like, in the 60s, right? And this one's in modern day, so he'd just be, like, 80 years old or something.
Yeah.
And so it's, like, he would never go toe-to-toe with Batman, but it's a really cool just idea where, like, a character we know and love kind of has, like, a story that's very interesting. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I think, because my favorite of all time, my favorite Joker is The Killing Joke. It's an animated movie.
I like that one.
Yeah. I really liked the backstory for the Joker, because in that movie, the Joker, also Gotham has a fantastic Joker, but in The Killing Joke, the Joker, the backstory is he's the Red Hood, which is like a bank robber that just wears a red mask. And he falls into a vat of toxic waste, typical, and it makes him go nuts. But
it's like one of the coolest comic panels ever, where he's like freaking out holding his hair.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Love that picture.
And that's like one of the things is that there's a plot twist where he's not the Red Hood. The Red Hood is the two thugs that are with the Red Hood, and they hire a different person to get in the costume every single robbery. Mm-hmm. And it's like, whoa. So this guy wasn't even a big deal. He was just needed some money. He was down on his luck, did this job, ended up fighting Batman, getting the crap kicked out of him, turns into the Joker, and then wha-bam, the Joker.
Yeah, he's like the biggest bad guy ever. Yeah.
Exactly.
And, I think by the end of that, or the movie, right? You saw the movie? You read the book? That, like, ending is always my favorite. Where, like, it's, like, a very emotional, like, we're not fighting anymore. And he just tells Batman a joke, and they laugh about it. and
Yep.
they might kill him. I don't know. It's very up in the air what happens, but it's really cool to see that's like the like emotional edge to comics that makes it so like believable and entertaining. And same thing with the movie where it's all about like his heart kind of breaks and then he becomes this like Joker character, and I think it's really cool. So what would you have in your belt?
Sorry, yeah. In the belt, I obviously have the smoke screen. Gotta have the smoke screen. Get in an awkward conversation, boom, out. Nobody knows you left.
You should get one of the like hologram Levi's from Levi Land.
Yes.
Just have them stand there where you leave.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure there's like a Borderlands character that does that or something. Leave a hologram and run away. Yeah. I would definitely have a Glock.
A Glock?
Yeah, I think it'd be way more efficient.
Would have a Glock.
I'm not Batman. I just have his belt.
In what case are you using this Glock? Is it if you're in another awkward conversation? You just gotta get out of here. Like...
It's like you're in an awkward conversation at the bank. Boom, boom, boom. This is a robbery.
It's kind of awkward. Like you're trying to withdraw, and they're like, "Sir, you don't have any money." And you're like, "All right. Like, how about now?" And then you hologram with a shitting at you. I think it works out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then you get away.
Is that everything you have in there? Just those three things?
The smoke screen, the Glock, the hologram Levi. I'd want a batarang. I really want to get good at batarangs.
I actually went to the. You have batarangs?
Do you really?
Ones? Yeah. They
Bro,
sell
do you have them with you?
At the theme park. I don't know where they're at.
Oh, okay.
They sell them at the theme park I work at. If I'm gonna go back the next day I'm working and check if they're there, and if they are, I'll get you a wedding present. Just when I bought them when I was like 13, I bought the Dark Knight ones. They look exactly like the ones from the movie. They have like the Arkham ones. They have just like a whole bunch of options. I don't know if they still have it, but I'll check it out.
Damn. That's like I went to the Renaissance Fair, which I freaking love the Renaissance Fair.
Dude, there's one going on this weekend. I wish I went. It sounds so cool.
Oh yeah, bro. That's what we do. My aunt would get my family, like all of us, tickets to the Renaissance Fair, and that's what we would do. It'd be my family, her family, and our grandparents, and we'd go to the Renaissance Fair. And I would always get like different little things. I always wanted to get like a recurve bow because I do archery hunting, which you don't typically use a bow like they did in the medieval days. You use a compound bow, which just puts more weight behind the arrow so it shoots faster. It's better for the animals. It makes them suffer less because it hits them harder.
But you want them to suffer.
Oh, no. No, I'd get a recurve to do the trick shots. Because I'm a pretty good shot with a bow, but I'd want to be able to do the stuff like the guy, I don't know if you've seen the video, where he has the bow and like he flicks a ring into the air and shoots an arrow in the ring. Like, I want to do stuff like that. That's what I would do.
Pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been hunting. I still need to.
It's fun. It's definitely something that you've got to be into to enjoy it. So.
Oh yeah, you can't just like casually be like, oh, I want to try this out.
Oh yeah, if you casually try it out, the animals will be smarter than you every time. They'll get away, and then you'll just feel like you wasted the trip. Yeah.
I believe you. Yeah. But I'll talk about my belt. So if I had a belt, and it wouldn't be crime fightery. I just don't think there's too many crime fighters out there. I would just keep it to like a really funny theme where it's like it's just everything in my belt is also very utility. Like I have like a Swiss Army knife, just because it's like utility knife, and then I have like trail mix because that's like the most utility snack you could have.
Naturally, yeah.
You got peanuts, you got M&Ms if they're a good kind, and honestly, the more inside of trail mix, the better, I think. And maybe like a universal remote, just so I can use any TV that I sit in front of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that basically covers it all. And then like my phone in it, because iPhones are they're pretty resourceful, I'd say.
You'd just be that guy where anytime anybody's like, hey, I need whatever, you'd be like, I got you. Pull out.
It's basically just a fanny pack.
Yeah, I guess.
Fanny pack guy, that's really what it is. Trail mix and everything.
You got two guys that walk into a bank with fanny packs, and one guy pulls out trail mix, and the other guy pulls out a Glock.
And then it's an awkward situation, so then you pull out the gun. Yeah. Yeah, no, I would hate that. But I think we've had a lot of talk today. I think we should finally hit that final question. You know which one it is. or I guess it's not final question anymore because we have 2 final ones. But what's like your best memory you have?
Best memory?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, when we did I don't know if this really counts. This is the story that I had earlier. I don't know if this really counts because I wasn't technically there for the funny part.
Okay.
But I set it up. Well, when we did the scavenger hunt around the city for my fiance, one of the spots for everybody listening, one of the spots that I had her go around town to all the significant places in our relationship, and I'd have one of our friends there with a letter that I wrote her. One of the places was out in the middle of the desert, and we took David there, and we left him there.
Had like a weird... What was that? It was like a swap meet, but it was like at the side of the road.
It was like some super redneck, far-right conservative, like little farmer's market.
Right you could ever be.
Yeah. It was like a tailgate swap meet kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
Like they'd sell all the Trump flags and the whoever was running for president. I think it would have been Biden flags at that point. Yeah. The Biden flags. They had like the Vietnam hats that they sold to people that weren't Vietnam veterans. Freaking A. And what was it? You walked up to a guy that was there, and he was like yelling racial slurs at you or something, right?
Yeah, that's what it was. Because I was sitting next to the guy that was selling ammo, as he's like holding a shotgun, I think, or he just had it next to him, and he like picked it up now and then. But I was just like, oh, I shouldn't be sitting here, but you can take over.
Yeah. And then you walked up to one of them, and you were like, "Hey, what did you? How did that interaction go?"
So it was the shotgun guy because I was sitting next to him, and I kept seeing him pick it up, and I was like, I feel like I should ease the tension because I don't know, I just thought I was so good at that or something. So I just said like, "Oh, what you got there, buddy?" And he was just basically like saying racist Mexican things, and he was just like, "Yeah, Mexicans never buy anything," as he's holding his shotgun. And I was like, cool, this is getting really bad. And so then I'm like, I think it's like Julia, or like, because Becca and Megan are driving. And I didn't know which one it was, so I'm spamming Julia, like, please come now, like, show up now. I'd love it if you guys were here. And I, like, walk to basically, like, as far to the road as I can, just in case any driver sees me get gunned down. And I'm just waiting there for them. And then they arrive, they pull into, like, this area, and like, guys, please leave, let's go right now. But, like, I'm safe now because I have, like, a shield of white girls in a car with me. So,
yep.
Yeah, things were better after that.
Yeah, basically. But I remember, because we left you there, and at first it was a joke. And then I got the text that they were on their way there, and I was like, okay, so we can't sit here and wait with you. We have to go. Because it's in the middle of the desert. You can see the road from a mile away. Yeah. So if I was leaving when they were coming, they would have seen us drive by them.
Yeah, they would have caught you and it would have ended. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we left you in the desert. And I remember driving by and seeing you in the mirror, and I was like, oh, I kind of feel bad about this. And then I had no idea about any of the stuff that happened until after Becca made it to the Castles and Coasters, the amusement park that we were meeting at. And she's telling me about finding you. He was like, oh my gosh. And then you told me about the guy that was there. I was like, holy crap. So I'm sorry you almost got shot helping me prepare a birthday present.
Hey, it was worth it. We had a good day.
Yeah, you get a story out of it.
Yeah. I thought you were going to share my story, which I'm kind of glad you didn't, because I get to tell it myself now. But, after this, like, many days of working at Raymondo's, this is the best job ever. I don't even say that sarcastically. I had a really fun time. But I had this business class I had to do.
Oh my gosh.
you know the story. In it, I was tasked to create my own business, and so I did. But I had no respect for this class. Kind of not the teacher either, but I feel bad for saying that, so I'm not going to say that. So, I had to make my own business, and because I didn't want to, I had maybe like 3 weeks to do this, and I didn't want to. Last minute, I was just like, well, I got to make up a business. So I came up with the completely original DeVito's gluten-free Italian food, in which I copied every single thing you had told me about the business and just wrote it down on paper and turned it in, and I got a very high grade. And because of that, I did every project like that, just based off of this DeVito's business, always asking you questions and just turning that into my, like, assignment. And they didn't like that because it was supposed to be film related. So they changed the entire curriculum so that I couldn't do that anymore.
Oh my gosh.
And so yeah, like the very end of the semester for the final, I had to create a whole new business again. And it was like some lame like script writing business. And I had to make a portfolio, but because I hadn't spent the entire semester making projects for it, Luke and I worked really hard to make things up on the spot. We ended up putting like pictures of the Grand Canyon that I think Luke took on his trip. Like it had nothing to do with anything, but it took up a file size, so we were like, okay, they're gonna believe it's good, and I passed.
Nice.
And like if I didn't pass that class, I wouldn't have graduated, so it really worked out. But yeah.
I remember you were asking questions for your DeVito's project, and I thought you were just really interested in what I do.
So, like... I was, don't get me wrong. But I wasn't just interested in that.
Oh my gosh. Lucas and I were actually talking about that the other day, about DeVito's.
Just, I mean, yeah, it really lives on. That's like my claim to fame. When I die, we'll be like, he could have done it. He could have. But he held back because he was so caring.
Could have been my business rival.
Yeah, what a story that would have been. Like, apprentice turned... Like, is that even the Star Wars thing? Is there an apprentice that turns...
I guess you technically would have been my apprentice learning the farmer's market stuff.
Yeah.
And then you become the thing we swore to destroy, which is competition.
Yeah. Create peace, security, and justice in my new business. But yeah. So that basically wraps it up. You know that last question I'm going to ask you. Who do you want to dedicate this episode to? Got a lot of good stuff going in this one.
Dedicate this episode... Let's we should dedicate this episode to Buffalo the dog.
Buffalo the I forgot about Buffalo.
Buffalo the dog. Oh, didn't he try to kill you once?
Did he?
He like attacked you or something, didn't he?
No, I was going to the bathroom and he just started barking at me like he didn't know me. That was the extent of it. But I was like, dude, after all we've been through. Alright. But oh man, I forgive him. He's so adorable. He's just like the biggest dog in the world. He's probably taller than you. And you're pretty tall. And he just like wants to cuddle with everybody. And I can respect it at the end of it, really.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad we can have this talk. It's been a very long time since we last discussed anything. And so
oh yes.
Yeah, it's cool hearing from you again. I can't wait to see you again. When that will be, you will probably be a married man or almost a married man. So, yeah, I'm very excited for you, man.
Thanks, bro.
Keep in touch, and, yeah, have a good summer.
You as well.
Yeah, all right. And that's